The old notes of downfall, discord, despair no longer resonate. Our generations of loved ones before us are whispering a prophecy, a quest, a calling, an anthem.
You look at this photo here. Let me put it full screen. You can see it's a depiction of the false Egyptian goddess, Hathor. Now, you can see that the similarities, the cow horns, the cow print, and I have a little bit of information about pretty much everything about Hathor right here from a report. It says Hathor, also known as Het-Heru, is a goddess from ancient Egyptian mythology, considered one of the most important and versatile deities in Pantheon. She is often depicted as a woman with the head of a cow, or sometimes a lioness-headed figure. Hathor is associated with love, beauty, music, dance, fertility. So, and also motherhood, by the way, which we know that Beyonce fans call her what? Mother. That's what a lot of these Beyonce fans call her, and they submit to the cult by doing so, in my opinion. So all those things I think are interesting because those are all things we also associate with Beyonce, right? Love, beauty, music, dance, fertility, and motherhood. Anyways, the false goddess Hathor, also known as Het-Heru, was also considered a goddess of joy, celebration, and feminine power. Aren't those all things that we associate with Beyonce as well? Hathor was often depicted as a nurturing and protective deity, particularly her role as the divine mother who cared for the deceased in the afterlife. She was also sometimes called the Lady of the West. Where does Beyonce live? In the West, in America. So she was represented by the cow, like the false goddess Hathor was always worshiping using the cow as altars. So when you see the cow print pictures from Beyonce, and you see the Cowboy Carter tour, and you see all these different look at all these different photos of Beyonce wearing cow print. All this is just worship for whatever reason. People also had this video of Beyonce during a performance during the Cowboy Carter tour, which they said she did some witchcraft and stopped the rain temporarily. And I thought this was kind of creepy too. Look. Rain stops. And then when she puts her hands down, the rain keeps falling again. That's creepy. I ain't gonna lie. That was creepy. That kind of freaked me out a little bit too. I was like, yo, what? That was weird. I ain't never seen nobody do no weird stuff like that. So that, Beyonce has been accused of witchcraft for a long time. And, it's not uncommon to hear that about Beyonce. Because, when you look at the depictions of different things, it would seem that there's some credibility to it. Now, here's an interesting thing. There was an ex-drummer for Beyonce that filed a restraining order alleging extreme witchcraft. So this woman used to work for Beyonce. Her name is Kimberly Thompson. And she reported claims that she suffered from Beyonce's magic spells of sexual molestation and that Beyonce murdered her pet kitten. I thought this was a crazy report. Nobody ever talks about this woman, and it was overlooked, in my opinion. Kimberly Thompson, Beyonce's former drummer, has filed for a civil harassment restraining order against Beyonce. And court records viewed by Pitchfork confirm. According to documents, Thompson alleges that Beyonce is practicing extreme witchcraft, quote, and magic spells of sexual molestation to harass her. Among other allegations, Thompson also claims that Beyonce murdered her pet kitten. Crazy. You don't get accused of this type of stuff, in my opinion. Like some stuff is just, I always say it, man, where there's smoke, there's fire. You guys know the saying. So, this woman, I have a video I want to play from her speaking to show you guys what's going on. But she said in the email that the accuracy of the documents that were posted are confirmed. She said, all accusations I survived are real. So that's what she had to say. This is something that wasn't widely reported, and I don't know why, but this is the woman speaking about the situation. Check it out.
I definitely did that to definitely be so clear to cut the cord that I don't want to have anything to do with this person at all. I don't want to work with them. I'm even embarrassed that I have worked with them because it's literally shattered everything that I've tried to build after doing that work in my life. So
I don't know if you guys can hear that clearly, but if you can't, she said that I regret working with Beyoncé because she shattered everything I tried to do after in my life, which, you know, a lot of times if you walk away, it's sad at least that if you walk away from these powerful people, they always try to ruin you after. Jay-Z has that criticism a lot as well. You know, that everybody that is working with Jay-Z is cool until you say, I want to leave Jay-Z. From J. Cole to Bobby Shmurda said that. Meek Mill had complaints about Jay-Z when he tried to walk away. I think Megan Thee Stallion. They all love Jay-Z until they was like, yo, I kind of want to do something different in my career. And then they say Jay-Z tried to ruin them right after. So this is something that not only is Beyonce associated with, but this accusation is something her husband is also associated with. And if you guys can't hear this clearly, if the volume ain't high enough, I'm sorry. This is the volume that the video has. So blame Daily Mail, not me.
If I have always said when I was a kid, I never would want to regret anything, but this I regret. I regret that we ever worked together because it's turned my life completely upside down. She's not been able to let me go. She's not been able to let me progress into a mature woman and work with other people, build other great entities and statues and trophies that develop in the arts world and music. She's just been a savage, stealing my intellectual property, stealing my ideas.
Wow.
Just basically doing anything and everything to damage any type of happiness that I could have had. It's just been a nightmare to try to move on and do other things for other people without it getting totally destroyed. Other people I've worked with that have been on a plateau have been paid to fire me. I found this out. And
it's crazy, man.
It just kept happening. So it was like, it was a pattern. You know, get really excited about something, you build it up, you invest all this time and everything in it, and then, you know, she comes and pays people to fire me and insult me, and it's just been disastrous.
If true is crazy, man. You know? And maybe it's because of the claim. Maybe it's because she exposed Beyonce, the witchcraft stuff behind the scenes. But she's saying that Beyonce is not allowing her to progress in her career. Like, she's not allowing her to work with nobody else. If she tries to work with somebody else, Beyonce comes and pays them people off and says, you know, you're not allowed to work. I'm not going to let you work in this town, pretty much. It's crazy.
I think there's a huge amount of jealousy there that she hasn't discussed with me. And but everybody knows, you know, like it's interesting that, you know, the public doesn't know all these things, but the people that are associated in the higher powers to say more or less do, you know, and I've just been bullied this entire time. This has been going on for a very long time.
Let's move on. But that's her statements, man. Other people have made statements about Beyonce too, saying, you know, things about her witchcraft. And I kind of want to get to, I don't think everybody's making this accusation for no reason. So let's listen to some of this stuff. Let's watch some of these clips and hear what other people are saying about her. And then we're going to jump into the Jeffrey Epstein part of it and the Epstein files and Jay-Z's part of it and all that other stuff. We also, I'm going to react to Beyonce's friends, her female friends that are also in the Epstein files. And it's starting to get a little weird because the people surrounding Jay-Z are in the Epstein files as well as Jay-Z. And then Beyonce's name, as far as concert tickets that were purchased or talked about in the Epstein files, were in there. And now it's starting to seem like all Beyonce's people that Beyonce has gotten support from or supported publicly are starting to be brought up, and they're all starting to respond too. So we're going to talk about that.
Beyonce had to go to her to get her womb unlocked and became her. Well, became an embodiment of her to lead everyone else into it. Man, they did Yoruba spells and stuff in the streets during the anarchy and the uprising during the pandemic. That's what they were doing. The 3 women that were over BLM, they're lesbian witches. And they were doing Yoruba ceremonies in the streets. And that's what brought the unrest to our community. This was the unleashing. That couldn't have happened if hip hop hadn't laid the foundation. Couldn't have happened. Couldn't have happened.